Okay, so for starters, you'll want to start a PSD. Um, you'll want to start a PSD that has the dimensions of 1080 by 1080, and you'll want to use this for all your textures. So you can see how each one of the shirts, or you know, it's all within this same 1080 by 1080. And so the shirt we're going to be working with is going to be, I'm going to put ATLX on the front and put Almighty on the back. And so let me go ahead and export this. All right. And so the next thing we're going to do, so now you can see, so this is the zip that I'm sending you. Inside the GLB will be the shirt that we create. And right now I'm just going to double click on this Blender file. So the first thing it's going to do is open up like this, plain white. A couple of things to notice. First of all, over here you've got, if you hide this, you've got the hanged version. Now there's a hanger in here. Don't worry about this hanger. You can, in fact, you can leave it here just for the sake of having a visual, but don't actually leave it connected, otherwise it will stay stuck on the shirt. So this is that hanged version of the shirt. You see how it's got some ripples, and then there is this is the hanger facing the other way, and this is the folded shirt. And so you see how the folded shirt has its folds, and you can put something right here. So let's work on let's do the hanged shirt. Let's do this one, the full shirt. But you do each one of them the same way. But I will not go through all of them in this tutorial. I'll just focus on this one. So first of all, make sure that you have the shirt selected. Once you have the shirt selected, you'll see, so make sure that you'll want to start off with your shader editor showing. That way you're in the same spot that I'm in, and can follow along. So just hit this drop down and select shader editor, and it'll bring this up. And when I move around here, I do so by pressing in my mouse wheel, and I can drag it around that way and then scroll in and out to make things bigger. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one and this one, and I'm going to start from the beginning. So you have to start off by adding a base material, and so you hit this and then hit this little browse button and then select main shirt material. Now this is very important. It is important that you do not just leave this like this. After you select main shirt material, or any of these, after you select any of these, so I'm not going to repeat this after every step, but just keep this in mind that after you select, you want to hit this copy button. So it's going to copy it. So you'll notice it's been copied because it gives a numeric value at the end. And I'm just going to rename this. So what I've done is I've made a duplicate of that, and of that material, and I'm not making a direct edit onto that material. So we'll just go ahead and rename this to, I'm just going to say, I like to name things based on what this one is. So it's hanged shirt, so I will put like an H, and then I'm going to say base, or you could say main. Okay, but that just represents the main texture. And that's the texture that you want to apply your color to. That's going to, like, if I change this, you notice how it changes the whole color. So imagine all you want to do is have like a black shirt. You could just hit this hex value, go 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and have a black shirt. In fact, let's go ahead and keep the shirt black. So now we have our main material. So we're going to have UV maps. So whenever you add a layer, a material that's going to have an image on it, you're going to first of all have to make a UV map. So I'm going to make a UV map. So you hit this little plus and then you double click in there and you can rename it, and I'm going to name this H_front. Okay. The reason why I'm prefixing with H is because imagine you want to work on multiple different shirts. So I would probably do folded with prefixed with an F. Okay, and I would prefix the wearable one with the W. That would just let me know, because you're going to accumulate these materials here. They don't go away just because you're working on. Well, they apply, but they don't go away. They'll just fill up. Moving along. So after you create the UV map, and actually I'll go ahead and make the front and the back at the same time. So we'll hit that plus sign again, H_back. Now we have front and back. So now we go back over here and we're going to hit this plus sign. Okay, and it drops this down, and then the next step is hit this browse button. It's going to drop down, and then select shirt logo material. And once again, after you select shirt logo, hit this new material button, and it'll add that 001 at the end, and I'm just going to rename it H_front dash logo. Okay. So the first thing you're going to want to do after you do that is change this base color. And you want to make this, unless you want this to be a different color. But I want it to be, because like right now it's going to be white. And it's going to have a white, once we associate it, it's going to have a white background on it. So in order to make it blend in with the shirt, we're going to make the background color the same color as the shirt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now it's black. And you can tell because we've got these black balls right here. Okay, so another thing that we're going to do is down here in our node, we're going to the one that says UV map. We're going to hit this little X. You make sure that you've got this one selected, and then hit this X, and then hit the drop down and select H_front. That's so right now what I've just done is I've associated this UV map with this UV map, and I've made that associated with this material. So this material is what this represents, that this is connected to that. So now that we've got our material set up, we've got to be able to put it somewhere. And this is the fun part, because we're going to draw out an area where we want it to be. And you can do this as many times as you want, anywhere on the shirt that you want to do it. And so I'm going to put ATLX right here on the pocket. So I'll zoom in a little bit, and then all you have to do, make sure that you've got your shirt selected. You can just hit the A key to make sure it's selected. Go into, hit this little drop down from object mode and switch to edit mode. And then the first thing you're going to want to do is hit the Alt A. That's going to deselect everything. It's really important. If you look around, you shouldn't see anything selected. Okay, so Alt A deselects, and I can't express how important this is because many errors come from having things selected that you don't intend on being selected. So before you do anything like this, you want to make sure that you get rid of what's selected. So Alt A. So the next thing I'm going to do is hit the C button, and that turns the cursor into this little circle. I'll roll my mouse wheel front and back to make it bigger and smaller, but basically what you're going to do is left click and you're going to define an area. You're just defining an area right here. And basically I'm selecting all of these vertices. Alright, so now that that's selected, right click to deselect from here. And now what we're going to do is we come here with our H front logo selected and we hit assign. Once we hit assign, you notice how we get the image here. So that's that ATLX logo. And you can see it right here inside of this node. And so now I'm going to go ahead and drop this. This is a step that you're familiar with from the previous version. So we go ahead and hit open. I'm going to go into texture. I'm going to select the ATLX texture that we made. All right. And so now that we've got this selected, let's go over to the UV editor. Hit this drop down, select UV editor. Now it's really important that you come over here to the object data properties, and under UV maps make sure that you select H front, so because that's the one we're working on right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and press A to select all, and press S to turn on the scaler, and bring this in, enter. Okay. And I'm going to press G in order to position. Bring it up. Enter. Press S to scale. Enter. S to scale. G. And so you'll just keep doing that until you get it how you want it. Boom. Okay. And so now we can go into object mode and see it. And so doing it on the back, now we just come over here. We're going to select this H back so that we have it selected. We come here, create a new material, hit the drop down, select shirt logo again. We're going to copy, and we're going to name this H_back dash logo. And we're going to change the base color to black. All right. And now let's go to our shader editor. Drop this UV map and select H back. We're gonna drop this, open, and select Almighty this time. And now let's define the area that we want to place the logo. So I'm just gonna hit the C button. And first of all, let's make sure that we don't have anything selected. So Alt A. Now that's deselected. So now we don't have anything selected. Now let's hit C and define our area. Okay. So now right click in order to release the tool. Make sure that you have H back logo highlighted and then hit assign. And we can see the Almighty logo in there starting to come in. Check, make sure we've got H back selected, and now we can switch over to our our UV editor. A, S, G, S, G. Now let's imagine we want to do, so now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to apply. So you can apply colors any way you want. Like there's all kinds of ways. And then also I've got these vertex groups right here. And so each one of these vertex groups will, instead of you having to hit the C and then define an area by selecting the vertices, these are a group of vertices. So let me show you what I mean. Let me go into edit mode. And the first thing I'm going to do is Alt A to make sure everything is deselected, because we were just working on the back anyway. So we need to deselect. So watch this. If I select sleeves, notice how the sleeve area is highlighted. Okay, I'm going to deselect, select sleeve bands. Notice how the sleeve bands are selected. I'm going to deselect neck band. And disregard that little glow that's right here. Don't pay any attention to that glow around the neck band. That is not included in the actual model. It's just part of the development. So I'll go ahead and deselect the neck band. Let's scroll this up and let's look at the waist. So you see how the waist. So you can apply colors, and you could even apply pictures to these areas. So like this is the entire shirt. Let's select that. Notice how it's just the front and back of the shirt area. So let's go ahead and apply a trim to the sleeve bands, to the neck band. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply that red trim from the ATLX. So the way I'm going to do that is, first of all, I'm going to make a material. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is deselect everything, Alt-A. And then I'm going to make a material. And I'm going to name this material ATLX Red. Down here in my base color, I'm going to grab a color picker. And I'm just going to put the dopper on a piece of red. So now we have our material for red. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure nothing, once again, I like to keep deselecting just to make sure nothing is selected. So I'll go ahead and select sleeve bands, hit select. Then I'm going to come back over here to ATLX Red and hit assign. Boom. Now, if I come out of edit mode and go into object mode, you can see how we've got that trim on there now. Let's go back into back into edit mode. Let's deselect. And let's come here and select neckband and assign. Now we've got our ATLX Red on the neckband and on the sleeve bands. And so that's how we go through this, making our adjustments. You can define any area you want and then apply these materials like I've just shown. In order to make this an actual GLB, you pretty much go through the same steps as before. So the first thing you're going to have to do is go through the baking process. So you'll come here and go to bake. Scroll down. Make sure you've got t-shirt hanged right here and hit add. Scroll down, hit bake. Once the blue goes away, it's finished. Hide the shirt that you were working on. Go to File, Import, FBX. You'll have your simple bake right here. Select it, import, and here we go. I like to drag these into the simple bakes folder right here. But here's that shirt. Now, you can just select it, export, GLTF, and then here inside of the GLB, I'm going to put make sure that you have selected objects selected. Export. Once you export this, you can check it by going to the viewer. And you can also just upload this straight to Sketchfab if you want to. But here we go. GLB, ATLX shirt from tutorial. And here it is.